Okay. Just make sure. Hello and welcome to our book discussion for this week. It is we have been discussing the text Igniting the Sixth Sense by Pepin. And so let's just get this thing nice and big here so we can begin our slideshow. There we go. Igniting the Sixth Sense by Pepin. This is book discussion week 3, and I am your host, Reverend Candace Nadine Breen. Now, as I've discussed, we sort of jump around in the book. I hope you have been enjoying the book. If you have any questions or would like to participate in any of the forums that discuss some quotes from the book, feel free to do so by visiting www.awakenedpathonline.com. It's www.awakenedpathonline.com. So let's begin with the text and talk about, let's begin by reading. Be mindful when you hang out with people who don't have the same goals you do. You may be consumed by their state of consciousness, so you have to be sure that you're prepared and strong enough to avoid it. I think I spoke briefly about this before, and I will talk about it again. The people we hang out with are the people that we're going to eventually become. For example, I'll give an example of myself. In my 20s, I am now 41, but when I was in my 20s, I socialized with people around my age who had the most dirty mouths. They would make a truck driver, a stereotypical truck driver, blush. I mean, the things that were said, it was, I think about it now and I feel somewhat embarrassed for that woman that I was in my 20s. And even though that wasn't a part of me at the moment, I eventually took on that characteristic. And I too started to lose myself in these people. And I started to behave in the same way. And it was such an angry time filled with violent words. And just violent words. And no sense of consciousness in regards of how we can love one another instead of how we can swear up a storm or things like that. To put it in simpler terms with, you know how they say you are what you eat. Well, you are who you hang around with. Even though you think that you're strong enough to not take on that behavior, it does affect you. Your ears hear it and it goes into your body and it becomes a part of you until eventually that part meshes with you and you take that personality on. So, okay. As I said, to continue, the people you hang out with reflect who you become. You can say that you can be kind by helping someone who always requests your help. But every time that you give advice to this person, they really don't apply it. If they don't apply it and they keep asking you for help, ask yourself this question. Am I being kind by consciously helping them? Simply let them go so that you can help other people who are willing to apply your help. And Pepin makes this other point as we can also be consumed by those people I refer to as bloodsuckers. They just suck the energy right out of you. They come to you crying about their problem. You listen, you try to help them, and they go back and do the same thing all over again, and you end up frustrated and tired because you exerted the energy to help this person and they just threw it away and did what they wanted to anyway. You can't help those people. They are energy suckers. They will suck the energy out of you. And until they themselves really want to change in their lives, nothing is going to happen. Nothing. You are wasting your valuable time and your energy trying to help those people. Now, I was on both ends of this back in the day when I was in college. I was on my own and had my own house, my own apartment, and I worked 2 jobs, went to school full time, and I had no one to talk to. I didn't have relatives or anything like that. And it seemed like I was always involved in some drama. Someone said something, someone did something, and I would call up a friend who, now that I think about it, it was so selfish of me because they could have been studying or doing something important. And here I was taking up their time, talking about my drama, and they would give me advice I would not follow, and I'd call them again with more drama. And that was very selfish on my part. Eventually, I did change. Okay, 20s don't last forever, and I did grow up and change, and felt sorry for what I did. But then it was my turn to be the person who received all of this drama from a person who kept calling me and calling me and calling me. Or even one day she showed up at my apartment at 7:00 in the morning. 7:00 in the morning. There she was standing outside my apartment. She had a lot of issues, but I could not help her. I was a student. I was working hard. I had my own things to worry about. And I listened the first few times. I was very helpful, I thought, and very objective. But then when it became a repeated incident, I just had to let it go. Just say, I'm busy right now, honey. I'll have to, why don't you go and talk to someone who's professional? Well, in that college, they have resources that were free. So that was easy to say, here, seek some help. Okay. So to continue with our reading here, take control of how other people affect you. You have the power. Okay. You have the power. Everything you need is within yourself. You have the power to control how other people affect you. You can use the law of vibration to vibrate at a higher level than anyone else who's surrounding you. That way, you do not have to succumb to the drama that is coming from this person or whatever emotion they may have that they're projecting onto you. You do not have to take it. You can rise above it. And when I was reading this earlier, I thought of former First Lady Michelle Obama when she said, "When they go low, we go high." And to me, that means that's the law of vibration right there. When someone is vibrating at a low level, you do not have to vibrate down there with them. Raise your own vibration. Say, I now raise my vibration to the highest possible level so that I may see the divinity within me and all that is. Say that and raise your vibration. You don't have to take on their vibration, and that way it does not affect you. You have control of how other people affect you. You do not have to wallow down there in the mud with them. Okay. And as I said, and to continue reading, Pepin says, you have the power to control your own destiny. I like how some people used to say, or some people say, your destiny is predetermined. What is your destiny? You have control of your destiny. Your destiny is not pre-mapped out for you. You have the power to determine your destiny. Did you hear me? You have the power to control your own destiny. Okay. Be mindful and conscious of your thoughts. This seems to be a recurring theme in this book. What are your motivations and where do they come from? Why are you thinking those thoughts? What things do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Okay. And then it goes the other way. What are your motivations in manipulating someone else? So think of those, back to the blood-sucking people that I called the blood suckers, the energy suckers. What are if you're one of these blood suckers, what is your motivation for manipulating someone else, for taking time away from someone else? Is it because you need attention? You lack attention? You lack love and support? Or you want someone to sympathize with you? Do you want someone to cry with you? What? Once you figure that out, if you're one of those people, then you can move forward. Do I really need someone to be in the mud with me? Can I get love and support without controlling someone? Can I just say to someone, be honest, hey, I'm having a real bad time right now, and I would really appreciate having a hug, or having someone to listen, or having a snack with me, or something like that, a cup of coffee. You have to be real and honest with yourself. Okay. And Pepin continues. What effect do you have on other people? How much control are you trying to exert over them? What is your goal? What is your agenda? How honest are you being with yourself? Selflessness is not about being aware of how you're affected by thought. It's how you affect someone else by the choices that you make. For instance, that when I was in college, that woman showing up at my doorstep of my apartment at 7:00 in the morning, she should have taken the moment and thought of, how is my showing up at Candace's apartment at 7:00 in the morning, knowing that she worked the midnight shift and that she has classes today, how is that affecting her day? I'm being very selfish. Very selfish. Okay. Selflessness is having self-awareness and self-consciousness that stems from a higher level of things. It's being more conscious of your intentions by keeping them in check, keeping them unselfish and more diplomatic. I'm going to read that again. Selflessness is having self-awareness and self-consciousness that stems from a higher level of things. It's being more conscious of your intentions by keeping them in check, keeping them unselfish or more diplomatic. Being honest with yourself begins by understanding how you manipulate others to control them. Thought is the inner matrix. The inner matrix is about individual relationships with the people in your life. You must understand how thought works, how thought is a living thing, and how thought will affect you. Okay. Everything has a living consciousness. Everything has intention, and its intention to keep you in check in a way that works for itself. Okay. Our thoughts are energy. When we think, when we are selfish and we don't think about how our behavior or thoughts are affecting other people, then we're not thinking about that. We're not being honest with ourselves. We're going to continue to be stuck in that muck until we decide that we're not going to do that anymore, that we're going to take control of our own lives, take control of ourselves, control our thoughts so we're not going down deep into that hole, and that we're not so desperately reaching out to suck the energy from other people. And when we decide that we are going to rise above that that's when change can take place and when our lives can turn a lot more positive. Okay. So we're going to skip around again in the book, and we're going to talk a little bit about more about meditation and how it influences our daily lives, our inner growth, and our spirituality. Okay, that we need to make time for our spirituality. So let's dive right back into the text. Pepin begins with, every day, people meditate in monasteries in complete isolation, dedicating themselves to their path, and still many are not able to reflect inwardly as deeply as you are reflecting right now as I'm reading this to you. It's important that you always allow your spirituality, your inner growth, to be the dominant, most important thing in your life. It's about saying that your spirituality is the most important thing in your life. You should never, ever forget that you have to build your life around your spirituality, not your spirituality around your life. Again, that's very important. You should never, ever forget that you have to build your life around your spirituality, not your spirituality around your life. People think that they have to make time for their spirituality, their meditation. No, it should be the first most important thing in your life, because if that's not balanced, the rest of your life is not going to be balanced. Okay, I'm a mom, I'm a mother and a wife here. And if I don't take time every day to do my morning meditations, to ground myself, to read, keep myself on my spiritual path, then how on earth am I going to be good and a good role model to my children? How am I going to be stable and balanced enough to take care of my children, to be there for my husband, if I myself am not right on my path? You have to change the way you think. Not, I don't have time for that in my life. No, your life has time for that. Meditation comes first, then your life, or your spirituality first, then your life. If you don't have that straight, the rest of your life, forget about it. It's not going to go as smoothly as you would like. Okay? So never ever forget that you build your life around your spirituality, not vice versa. Okay? Not vice versa. Your life goes around your spirituality, because your spirituality and conscious thinking, mindfulness, all of that affects the other portions of your life, which is why it needs to be strong. It needs to be strong in order for the rest of your life to be strong. It needs to be strong enough to support the rest of your life. Okay? Let's continue with Pepin's reading here. When you can achieve this, what we just talked about, you will probably be happier in your life. Your spirituality is the doorway to your inner soul. The people in your life will come and go. Your spirituality is forever. The only guarantee you have is the inner development of your soul. Okay? The only guarantee. Your friends are not forever. Your spouse may not even be forever. Your children will grow up and leave and have families of their own. But spirituality is always there. Your spouse could die, and you can be left alone or whatever. But you will have your spirituality. That's why you need to develop it, nurture it, and grow. Pepin continues by talking again about selfishness. And he tells us to be a little bit selfish in this regard, in regards of your spirituality being first and everything else comes after. And that is important. It may be a little bit selfish, but it benefits everyone. Selfishness means that you work on developing yourself first. It doesn't really mean that you're being selfish. If it means that you have to isolate yourself or make a radical change in your life, try to be as pleasant, compassionate, and understanding as you can. You will always affect other people throughout your life. Always empower yourself to make the right choices that are going to help you awaken. If you want to awaken, if you want to be enlightened, it doesn't come overnight. It's a life choice. It's a path that you choose to take. And if you want that to develop, and if you want to reach or ascend, to ascend to a higher level of consciousness or a higher level of vibration, you have to put these things first in your life, and everything else is built around it. So the spirituality has to be strong enough to support the rest of your life. Remember, people in your life come and go. Your spirituality is forever. Well, that's it for book discussion week 3 here. And I hope you've enjoyed a little book discussion today. You can always go to my website here. Let's go to over here. My website for more information, www.awakenedpathonline.com. Again, that's www.awakenedpathonline.com. And please participate in our forum. It's very exciting, and there's some great topics in our forum. Remember, you do have to register, and that is to protect everyone's information in regards to what they're sharing, and to not make it a big public page, but a page for the participants. And you can also contact me on the website. You can send prayer requests, and we will send love and healing light to you or to the person you are requesting a prayer for whom you're requesting a prayer. And there's also some awesome resources on there, some courses, some workshops, a whole bunch of information. There's even some workshop for children as well. So again, I've enjoyed being with you today. I've enjoyed our session. I'm going to leave you with a special song, and as you know, I love Karen Drucker, and this is I Am So Blessed. It's a great song. I'm going to try to get it full screen for you here. And there we go. And thanks again. I look forward to speaking with you very soon. Namaste.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.